Hello and welcome, Exiles. Today I want to talk about this skill, Vaal Smite. The skill that seemingly is going to be able to hit straight up everything on the screen. And I think this hit here demonstrates it the best. You'll notice he's hitting a monster right here. This monster, which is quite far away from this, also gets chained to. And not only that, but it chains to the next monster, which also has some distance. I'd also like to point out this skill has very low AoE investment. This is very small. This is like if you didn't invest in AoE on Smite at all, this is the kind of Smite you'd get. Now the thing is, you can actually get a lot of area effect on Smite specifically if you look at, I'm going to just show you an example of getting AoE on Smite, and this is what it can look like if you get some AoE. You'll notice this is much, much bigger. Now, my theory is, with a decent amount of AoE, barring the Vaal Smite doesn't have like a limit to targets. If they give it the Vaal Power Siphon treatment, we're in trouble. But if it doesn't have a limit to targets, this very well could be a scenario where we are basically like what Glory Days Vaal Ice Nova was. You click a Legion, you click Vaal Smite, and it just kills everything. I need to make an actually good build. This character that I put together here is a Smite, and I did the thing where you get something in your head and you take it way to an extreme that you shouldn't. I started going crazy about getting aura nodes just to get area of effect, which is why I'm talking about getting area of effect on Smite. You can get pretty easy AoE from the aura nodes. Stuff like leadership actually is 30% AoE for Smite. Stuff like the mastery, which gives 30% AoE on aura skills, actually applies to Smite because Smite is an aura skill. So that's what I mean when I say you can get area of effect pretty easily. If you're a build that goes near any of the clusters, you have 30% right here guaranteed, or say you have a small node with 12%, just one of these aura wheels will give you close to 40% AoE, which is pretty freaking good considering normally area of effect's kind of a hard stat to get for most things. Like if you're playing a build and you're like, say I'm a Templar or whatever, and I'm trying to get AoE in my build, and I'm getting 10%, 10%, 30% total from this cluster, that's fine and dandy and all, but then past that, it's hard to get more AoE on top of that. But say I'm playing a Inquisitor with Smite, I could get 20% AoE here, and say I just want a couple of the decent reservation nodes right here, I can get 40% AoE from just this small passive that is normally worthless to most people, and from a mastery. So that's why I say I think this skill has some really nice potential. Moral of the story is I'm trying to figure out the way I want to do it. I'm thinking, previously I made a video about Frozen Legion, how I'd have Frozen Legion where I'd pop it on single target, and I wanted to use some other 6-link skill. Well, I'm thinking I might want to do Smite now, because if I have Smite and I have Vaal Smite for Giga AoE, and then I'm using Frozen Legion to basically have a influx of damage for single target, I think it could feel really good. The idea of just hitting like a monster and just the entire screen just goes up in heavenly beams of light, smiting the enemies, that's just a cool thing to me. I've always liked the Templar archetype of a holy man slaying, the foul demons or whatever, and that seems cool to me. I'll showcase. Don't make fun of me. Don't make too much fun of me. I'm gonna showcase a white map because this character is just bad, and this will make it look not as bad. This is like a level 90 character, a level 92. I'm embarrassed right now. Don't make too much fun of me. But this will just showcase what it looks like, what it'll look like if you have basically additional strikes, because I have Ancestral Call on this character. Doesn't really help with a single target, but it'll give a demonstration of what this looks like if you have a decent amount of AoE, aka you grab an aura node mastery and maybe a couple other area nodes here and there. This character has roughly, for reference, this character has 24% AoE here, 30% from the mastery, 12% here, 30% here. So roughly speaking, this character gets around I believe 108% area of effect. So if you just have like 40% here, 20% here, you'll be a little bit less AoE because AoE has diminishing returns, but you'll still get pretty close to what you're seeing here in terms of AoE. And then you include the fact you're doing Vaal Smite instead of like just Ancestral Call Smite, and you're actually going to be hitting like much larger area, especially if you consider the fact that it proliferates and it can jump such a large distance. Because in the video I showcased, it has that distance where He has no AoE investment, but it still managed to jump farther than his AoE actually let him. That's why I think you go up to a Legion, you can click the Legion, and it'll be able to basically kill the whole thing, because you can get really good AoE on Smite. Smite by itself is a pretty good AoE skill, and you mix in the fact that you can proliferate it out. The only way I think this won't be able to one-shot Legions, the only scenario I see that happening is if they put a target limit on it. Like they say, oh, it can only hit 80 enemies, or they say, hey, this can only clear to the edge of your screen. But if it has the ability to hit as many enemies as it can chain to, it's just gonna be another fun button, basically. I feel like Frozen Legion kind of feels like a fun button in terms of you have to press something, have a big influx of damage, something cool happens on your screen. But then Vaal Smite is just hits everything. I need to theory craft a better build than this build to actually like suggest something for it. Probably gonna I'm heavily considering doing it with the Templar with Frozen Legion and stuff like that. I think that could be a lot of fun. But I just wanted to showcase how much AoE you can get on this skill, just because the aura nodes, like the aura mastery, 30% AoE for one mastery, that's a really big AoE thing. And Vaal Smite, just the fact it can chain past what the AoE is. When I'm looking at this last hit here, like, this guy is nowhere near these monsters. This guy doesn't have any AoE investment, yet it's chaining to him, and that guy's chaining to this guy, which might even be farther away. Like, I'm really, really hoping, and I just realized I wasn't even showcasing the hit, but I'm really, really hoping that if it's the case that you can basically not have a target limit. We'll see when we get the gem reveal. If it says target limit, well, it's probably still going to be pretty fun, but not like you hit a Legion and it one-shots, the type of thing. If there's no target limit, I think the skill is going to be actually just insane for if you want to do farming Legion. It just seems like a lot of fun to me. So, man, I'm freaking addicted to these Vaal skills. They just get me excited about trying to make a build, specifically just because Vaal skills are just fun, generally. They do something interesting, they do something cool, and I feel like I'm like an addict, with a drip feed of something that I'm extremely addicted to, which is interesting new things, and Vaal skills are exactly that, interesting new things. I know we didn't get, like, a nice amount of, like, skill balance in terms of buffs and stuff, but getting, like, cool Vaal additions to skills actually kind of triggers something in me primal to want to make different characters. I'm gonna have a really hard time choosing my league starter, because I still know we need to see Vaal Venom Gyre and Vaal Blade Flurry, and for all I know those will be actually just bonkers too. We'll see what we actually get on the Vaal Gem info, and if we get those teasers pretty soon. But this is just something I wanted to make a video about because of how good you can get AoE for without too much investment. And Smite itself is actually a pretty decent skill, because you can hit the ground, that AoE from the ground can hit the boss, and then you can also hit the boss with Ancestral Call or additional strikes, which makes it end up hitting closer to like 400% damage or something like that. It actually ends up being a pretty decent single target skill as well. So I think this might be just an extra, I don't know, gravy on top or something like that for making Vaal Smite just a really fun build to play. I need more of these Vaal. I need to know what Vaal Venom Gyre and Vaal Blade Flurry does, because I'm freaking pumped about it. I got to theory craft the better build than this though. I was stretching too far for this. I think this was ultimately a mistake. I need to go back more to the drawing builds and try a little bit harder at it, because doing Vaal Smite plus Vaal Frozen Legion sounds like a lot of fun. I think it might be an Inquisitor play, but maybe it would be worth to look at other ascendancies as well. So anyways, as always, thanks for watching, Exiles. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and take care. Peace out. Have a good one.